Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca and I'm your host. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, then I hope that you learned something from this episode. And if you do, then I hope that you go check out the other amazing episodes because they have a lot of amazing insights that you can apply in your life. If you are an avid listener of the podcast, then welcome back. I hope that you had an amazing week. I hope you had time to listen to the other episodes. I have a lot of episodes that I know that you can learn from. And yeah, this is a very special episode because I am talking to one of my online friends that I've met recently. I really admire this girl. I mean, her content, the value that she gives to other people, and just the way she presents herself. It's just a good sight to see. And I'm the first moment that I saw this woman on TikTok, I was like, I gotta talk to this woman. I mean, she's really amazing, and I just can't wait to introduce her and to talk about her journey as a content creator. So let's all welcome to the show, Julienne, or as you all know, Yen. Welcome to the show, Yen.
Wow. Thank you. You really made me feel good about myself for like a moment. I was like, wow, maybe I accomplished something for you to say those nice things about me. But thank you so much. And I admire you and your content as well. I think you really bring value to other people's lives. And I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, because the moment that you launched your podcast, I said, okay, now I have a reason to invite you because I just can't, invite people because, the podcast Network Asia, they really told me like you gotta chill down on guesting. But when you launch your podcast, which is called Journey, right? Journey
Yes,
with
Journey with
Julienne.
Julienne. Yes.
Yeah, I said, okay, now I have a legit reason to have you on the show. So now you're here.
Yay.
But before we talk about your podcast, I want to know your story. How did you get
Mhm.
into content creation?
Okay, that's really funny actually. I'm an only child. So when YouTube launched, I think in 2006, I was obviously still a child, but I had my best friend tell me, "Hey, we should start making music videos," because it was the age of music videos at the time when you would dub videos and post them on YouTube. So I officially started when I was 11 years old. Like I made a channel. I won't tell you my username because it's extremely embarrassing. It was a time when uso pa yung XO, X0, mga ganon. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I started making content when I was 11 and posting it on YouTube. And then I started delving into beauty. So even though I was young, I would pretend to put makeup and pretend to know what I was doing and just talk to the camera. And then I started getting into Lush Cosmetics, the soap that everyone is into up to now. And I just like doing hauls and what I got for my birthday, what I got for Christmas, how to make a sugar body scrub. And these were ways for me to entertain myself because I was an only child. So I needed that sort of outlet. I think that also helped me improve on my English. At the time, I just moved to the US from the Philippines and I was growing up there as a child. And it really helped, teach me how to speak better in front of people and to other people. And then when I moved back to the Philippines, I did not continue posting on YouTube because, teenager years, you're usually more self-conscious. What if people judge me? Nobody else is doing this. So I stopped. Then when I was in college, I, took up communication course. And we would produce things, we would make videos. I was able to practice more of my speaking and so on. But ever since then, even throughout high school, I was already into communications. I was already into public speaking and what else? And I was always creative ever since I was young. I always wanted to create things and help people. When I was in college, I tried a little bit more, but of course, for some miraculous and beautiful reason, I officially became a content creator during quarantine, as you know, many of us did. And so I started creating my TikTok videos. I didn't actually start with, I would say, mindset or necessarily life enhancing. They were more of entertainment purposes. And then I delved more into, hey, I'm into health and fitness because that's what I post on Instagram. So then I started sharing my jump rope videos. I'm not sure if you saw any of those.
Yeah, funny thing is that's the first video that I commented on. You were
Really?
yeah, you were jumping ropes and I said, okay. And you weren't like facing you were facing sa kabila na nakatalikod ka.
Yeah, I wish it
Yung
was
pinapakita yung mukha mo
telegenic
and I was like,
lens.
oh, sabi
Yeah.
ko, this is really mysterious. I'll follow this girl.
LOL. Yeah, so I started posting my jump rope videos, and then my jump rope transformation video was,
Mm.
I think, one of my first millions, naka-reach ng millions. And then, so I kept posting, health and fitness is what I eat in a day. This is how I work out. Then I post my parents sometimes, and that gets millions of views. And my parents are like super cute and lovey-dovey, and everyone's like goals. And it's true love. And then eventually, I think when you rediscovered me was my mindset video, and that kind of shook my world and I guess other people as well in a positive way. I had no idea that whatever I said that day would touch other people in the way that it did. And it blows my mind. Now it's like I should have like dressed up when I made that video because I was in my pajamas and I just woke up. They're famous and successful people, like abroad travelers, entrepreneurs. Hey, I'd love to talk to you about this video. And I'm like, I should have worn something else. But I guess, the fact that it was candid and it just came from my heart and I was dedicated to what I was saying. I believe in Lao Tzu's quote. And I think, thoughts become our words, become our actions, become our habits, become our destiny. That's what I said. And I did believe in everything that I say, everything that I said in that video. And I do believe in everything that I say usually. And ever since then, I just started posting more life enhancing videos in terms of mindset and helping people, work on themselves and to be, hopeful and to have more faith in God, in this reality that we live in. Everybody has a purpose. You just have to keep going. It's never going to always be good. Nobody has it easy. And what motivates me to keep on going is, they're the messages and the fact that, even just one person out there in the world can keep going throughout this one day, and that's what keeps me going. Like, okay, even though I'm not the most famous, I'm never going to be the most beautiful, the most famous, the richest, etc. person ever, but I am me. And the fact that I am this one person that can have an impact on one other person means that there is still a reason as to why I am here and more. And the same goes for everybody. Everybody has a purpose. I feel like I went on a really long speech. But
No,
yeah,
I mean that was really beautiful. I mean,
thank you.
first of all, I was shaking my head. It's bad that we don't have our cameras on, but I'm really shaking my head because that was really beautiful. I mean, in the sense na you started off being like very vain, for doing it for yourself, like posting
Mm-hmm.
makeups and doing all that stuff, and then you
Mm-hmm.
evolve into something that maybe I could share some of my experiences, my journey, and then just after one video, you were this girl who had this mindset, who create video to enhance other people's lives. And what's funny is I also came from a similar path. I started vlogging before, but I was just documenting my life. Went to the resorts, the places, the restaurants I've been, and then I said I could do more. I wanted to do more. And then I started to talking to the camera, just giving advice about life in general. And then I still thought that I could do more. A lot of the podcast listeners know this. And then I started podcasting. And when I started podcasting, I only had like 5 to 10 listeners, but there was one random stranger who messaged me. He said, "Nah, I don't know you, you don't know me, but you saved me tonight." And I was like,
Mm.
This is what I live for. This is the reason why I'll keep on creating. And I really love what you said about um, you may not be the most famous, the most beautiful, the richest person, but if you could help or add value to one person, that is enough. You are
Mm-hmm.
you've already changed the world. And I just I know it's just a really funny story because I feel like we may have different path, but it's a very similar path towards self improvement and us
Mm-hmm.
being the influencers who try to I cringe at the term, pero the people who
I
try to
know.
to
Yeah,
add
we're a
value
positive influence as well.
to add value to
Yeah.
other people. So I just want to ask because the things that you say on your content, these are things that you've learned along the way. Like you've read books before. Where did this like urge of becoming better started?
Okay, most people, I think most people have this intense urge to improve when they've hit a low, you know? And I've personally, I forgot what quote that is or where I read it. It was like something about victories and something about, how people have to just sometimes hit that low in order to truly rise and become who they are. I've personally experienced a few lows in my life, and maybe, everybody has their own definition of what low is, but there was a moment in my life. Well, I did not expect to get really deep here, but yeah, this is not going to be a sad podcast, everyone. But no, I hit a low in my life wherein I was seeking help, and I wanted, I was like, okay, I know I have to work on myself. I was seeking happiness. I was like, maybe if I hang out with my friends more, maybe if I talk to this person that I trust, this person I respect, and people. But then I realized throughout that I had to work on myself and really delve within myself. And that's when, I just asked help from God. I was like I got to work on myself, and I need your help, God, to help myself. And so I started going to the gym. I was like, okay, Yen, take this one step. You know that you need to work on yourself. You can't go any lower than this. I'm like generally a happy person, and people know me from school. I am generally happy, optimistic, and friendly. I like to think that. I like making friends a lot. And what a lot of people don't know is that there was a period in my life wherein I was actually incredibly low, and I would have multiple breakdowns, and I would do my very best to keep it together. And I kept it together, and I'm still alive because of my faith in God, and because of my faith, that God put me here for a reason, and I need to use my life for something much greater than who I am as a person. So I took the first step to work on myself by, going to the gym every single day. And I would listen to podcasts. Actually, there were two podcasts that I listened to when I was on the treadmill. This was before my boxing journey, before my jump rope journey. I just be like, I gotta spend some time on myself. I want to get smart while doing this. I was like, okay, maybe I'll listen to some TED Talks. And then this other podcast, but if I talk about this one, it'll just be way too long for this podcast, I think. But yes, it was very eye-opening, mind-blowing podcast about, faith, humility, about mindset, about, might as well bring him up. Okay, because I think if I say this guy's name, he's a little bit controversial because of his past.
Mm-hmm.
But in essence, he right now, ever since he got a daughter, he really shifted his life. Russell Brand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard of him.
Have you listened to
No,
have you listened to his
I haven't
podcast?
heard of.
Okay. Yes. Okay. If we know him, he broke up with Katy Perry. He was an addict. He was horrible. He was a
Oh.
horrible, horrible human being. But I somehow discovered his YouTube channel a few years back. And I was like, hey, this guy's bad. That's what I was thinking. But then I clicked on it because the title was enticing. It was about I think something like overcoming anxiety or something like that. And then I listened to it and I was like, whoa, this is not the same Russell Brand that I knew like when I was a kid in America. Like I know he's bad, but the one that he was very eye-opening. He talks about he just believes in humanity and the greater picture of life, if I were to sum it up. And he's very controversial before, but now he's very much respected in the YouTube community. I don't listen to him anymore, but I do respect him as a person. And he was one of the first podcasters that I listened to, amongst others. And then, so when I was on the beginning of my journey, when I would go to the gym all the time, I would listen to some podcasts. And then I discovered boxing, and I just really needed to release this sort of like frustration inside of me. So then I started boxing, and then I started to get good at it, I guess. And then my coach said, you should do jump rope to improve your endurance. And then I just started to love jump rope. And my schoolmates at the time knew, like, Yen's going to the gym so often. Like I was that fitness person in the class. And what they didn't know is that I needed that. Like it was my outlet. Like it sustained me. I would also go to church all the time. Like I would just pray in silence, and I would ask for help and for guidance and to just keep going. So it was really like faith and working on myself. And I just tried my best to strengthen my mind, body, and soul. And I kept it up to this day. I do believe that we are at this constant, every day is a challenge for us to make the right decision. So I do my very best to have these sort of good habits to help myself every day. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So thank you for sharing your journey.
I realize every time I talk, it's like a whole month.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I told you that's why the podcast lasts for at least 40 minutes, right? Because we have a lot of things to talk about. But no, I really love the story about just, making that one decision, trying to, not knowing where you end up, not knowing how you can do it, but just making that one decision that you want to get better. You got to be better. And there's just no way but up from your lowest points. And I think we could dive into that if, maybe next time, another episode. We'll talk about rock bottoms there. But I want to know more about the improvement part. When was the time where you said, because now it's easy for us that who came from our lowest points, and we've seen that we've made progress. It's relatively it's easier for us to keep going, to do the things that we're doing because we've seen progress. But when was the moment in your life where you said to yourself, "Now, okay, I'm making," because when you're trying to get better, especially when you're galing ka sa rock bottom, talagang di mo alam kung may pupuntahan eh. Di mo alam kung may epekto ba yung mga ginagawa mo. When was the moment na said na, okay, I'm making progress?
The moment that I said I was making progress, okay,
was there a moment? Was there a
answer.
moment, or you just like parang that you're doing the right thing, so kahit walang results, kahit walang progress, you just have to do it? Or kasi ako naisip ko sa akin, I think one of the for like 4 to 5 years, I've been trying to improve myself, like one step at a time, read one page at a time, just one. And then I just wala akong nakikitang results, wala akong nakikitang progress. And then, one of my videos blew up sa TikTok. And then from there, I saw that I have come a long way. And right now, when there are times na I feel demotivated, I don't want to do things, I'll just look back and see how far I've come, and I get back on track. I just ride on the momentum that I have. Was there a moment in your life where you felt like, okay, it's easier right now to keep going because I can see progress, something like that?
Honestly,
Yeah.
well, there are multiple moments in my life wherein I was like, wow, I've come a long way. I think, compared to like the low points in my life, I was like, I'm not crying as much. That's great.
Yeah, that's a win.
To be honest, I was like, whoa, I'm like crying less this week. I must be doing something good for myself. But like, to be honest, when you said, you mentioned something early and I could relate to it. You said something about like momentum and you felt like at ease with what you've done so far. And almost every day, I think every day that I survive, I'm like, good job, self. But recently, I feel like only recently has, like I've picked up momentum and I, found this sense of direction that I already had it before. Like I've been posting this kind of stuff on TikTok about mindset, about nourishing mind, body, and soul on my Instagram stories. So all of my family and friends know that I've been working on myself for a while now, but I haven't, like, I didn't share it on that platform and I didn't like blow up for it. But it was only recently wherein I started getting opportunities for the things that I post and wherein I started getting messages from people all around the world about the kind of positive impact that my words have, that my content has on them, that I realized like, wow, this is big, and I am at ease and I'm just grateful for this sort of momentum and whatever I have accomplished so far. I think like right now, I don't necessarily want to pressure myself. I think there's this sort of like pressure in terms of content creation sometimes. But as of the moment, I just kind of want to bask in this moment, in what I have done so far and what I'm working on. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so easy for us to get lost in seeing, what do we want, our goals or dreams, and when we're not in the moment, it takes away the appreciation and just the happiness and the fulfillment that you can get from the journey itself. Speaking of the journey, yeah, let's now talk about your podcast. You recently launched your podcast, which is Journey
Yeah.
with Julienne. Can you talk more about that?
Yes.
What's the concept behind that?
You know what? It's so funny. When I was in my senior year, I submitted this paper and I made this whole cover. I actually have yet to make a TikTok video about it, but I manifested it. The word journey has always resonated with me. I mean, I'm not saying I manifested it in the way that, like I write it multiple times on a piece of paper, then I like chant something. Because I know like the word manifestation means something to so many people. But in TikTok, some people like manifest by like writing down on a piece of paper and then having candles set up. But for me, I kind of just manifested it without even realizing that I manifested it, because I made this whole paper about it. About what I want, and it was entitled Journey. And it was I should have looked for it, but it talked about my greatest realizations and triumphs. And so I was writing it as if, I was just in college, but as if, oh, I've accomplished this and I've realized this and I've done that. So I must be heading the right way. I must be in the right direction. Another project that I did in my senior year was about, it was in my digital marketing class. And the professor asked us, if you were to make if you were to be an online presence, if you were to have a platform on YouTube, what would it be and what is your game plan? So I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be a content creator. I didn't necessarily think, I could be a full-time content creator. I can make a life out of this. But I was like, you know what? I wanted this when I was young. So let me just make this project and do this whole game plan as if I were my young self with all the knowledge that I have right now. So I made a game plan for myself. So I'm going to post health and fitness. I want to make people happy. I want people to be more grateful about their life, et cetera, et cetera. And so it was like manifested in the content that I created. My whole journey so far on TikTok and online, even before I was known, quote unquote, on Instagram, has been about what I talked about in my projects. So I was kind of visualizing myself when I was younger through projects, through dreams. I was about what I'm doing right now. And I've always used the word journey. Well, the first time I heard the word journey, or the first time it resonated with me, was with a band, but that's not at all why I call it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite bands actually. But yeah, journey always resonated with me. And every time the word journey was brought up in any sense, in class, in church, a random person saying it, anywhere, it was like always like, I love that word. Like journey implies our life, and they always say trust the journey. They always say appreciate the journey. It's not really getting to exactly where you're going, but it's the whole process of it. So I just wanted to make a podcast about one's journey, not just my journey, but like all of us, we're on our own journeys, but at the same time, we're all on this one journey together as human beings. And before, I used to just focus on health and fitness, so it was just the body. But then I was like, let's include the mind. But then I wanted it to be like a whole holistic experience. So I wanted to include the soul into it. It's all one in our being. And I'm also into philosophy, and I'm into spirituality, and I'm into health and fitness. I was like, okay, let me just put everything that I'm passionate about, everything that I am, into this one podcast. I already talk to myself a lot. So let me just make a podcast out of it. So here I am, Journey with Julienne, and I'm talking to you, and you're successful at what you're doing, and you know way more stuff about podcasting. And I'm very grateful that we are quote unquote online friends. I like to think you're my TikTok, but it's like too early to say that.
Yeah, I'm also grateful for you, for your time. And I just want to reiterate, or I was really connected when you said that the word journey means life, not just your journey, but everyone's journey. We may have different paths, but we're in this one journey called life. So journey just means life, and I really love the concept behind it. I mean, even before you shared your story, when I saw the title of your podcast, Journey, I was like, wow. Like, why didn't why didn't I get that name first? That is an amazing name, and it just rhymes with Julienne, so it's just perfect for you. So if you guys are loving this conversation, I hope that you go check out Julienne's podcast. She is very passionate about podcasting, even though she's just starting. She already uploaded 5-6 episodes, I think, in the past week. So
every day.
It's like a daily podcast, and it's just a short form podcast. So you really love, it's just everything that she wants to say. She speaks her mind and soul and heart out. So please go check out Julienne's podcast. And as much as I want to talk more about you, I won't hold you any longer. I'll schedule another episode with you. And I'm sure that this is just the beginning for very, very long friendship, starting from TikTok best friends, and then IG, and then on podcasting. So I'm looking forward to talking with you again. And thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. And guys, if you like this episode, if you connected with anything that we said, please go share this on your Instagram, on your Twitter, on your TikTok as well. And do not forget to tag us. Julienne, I'm sorry. Where can they find you? If they want to learn more about the things that you do, where can they find you?
Yes. So you guys can find me on TikTok, Instagram. I think I have a Facebook page too, but I'm not as active on there. So maybe just TikTok and Instagram at Julienne Ipapo. That's pretty much it. Oh, just kidding. I have a YouTube channel too. Search the one that doesn't look like I'm a kid. So the Julienne Ipapo one, not like the Yen Ipapo. Like if it's a kid, don't watch those videos. But thank you so much.
Okay. Go follow her, guys. And yes, thank you again so much. Do not forget to tag us. Tag me at Small Talk Podcast at Alec Cuenca. If you have any questions, inside comments, let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you again so much for listening. This is Alec Cuenca, your host for Small Talk, Small Conversations with Huge Impact, and I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.